morning, everybody. I'm Judith Bernstein, and I'm your worship associate this morning. It's my joy to welcome members and visitors of all ages, those connecting online, and those who are here in the church. I thank you for coming. Please take a moment or two to greet people who are around you who you may not know, and those you do know. Do I have to ring the bell again at some point? Do I need to ring the bell again at some point?
Give you like 30
Oh,
seconds.
okay. I hope that those of you who were here for breakfast enjoyed both your food and the company, and that those here like myself who slept a little too late and missed it today can come join us next time. It's good to be together. We begin each of our services by acknowledging the devastating impact of colonialism in this country, understanding that all of us are located on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of indigenous communities. We respect the history and culture of these communities and all Native Americans as America's first people. We would like to extend a special welcome today to our visitors. We're delighted you chose to be with us today and hope you can stay after the service for some informal conversation and coffee. If you are here in person, you may gather in the social hall, which is just out these doors, or in the labyrinth outside, where it is a nice sunny day. Those visiting online are welcome to stay after the service for conversation with other participants on Zoom. We invite those who are visitors here in the sanctuary to fill out the green visitor form, which you'll find in the pews in front of you, and you can place them in the offering basket later in the service. Visitors online are also encouraged to fill out the visitor form, which is on our website, UUSLO.org, at the bottom of the page. If you have any questions about the congregation or about Unitarian Universalism, our membership director, Larry Iaquinta, will be available after service at the newcomers table in the social hall, or you may contact him at membershipUUSLO.gmail.com. We encouraged you after the service to greet somebody who you don't recognize and haven't yet made the acquaintance of. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone. Today's chalice lighting is adopted from Betsy Dar. May the light of this chalice give light and warmth to our community when we're joyful and also when we despair. And may we feel the warmth spread from our circle to wider and wider circles until all know they belong to the one circle of life.
Good morning. I am Rod Richards. I am proud and pleased to serve as minister of this congregation, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you all. You weren't here when I first looked out. It is great to have you here. We're getting to the point where we may engage in some sacred scooching. As you see people come in, scooch to the middle of the pew so they have somewhere to sit. Really good to have you all here today. And we are next going to sing the doxology. The words are in your order of service, or you may follow the words on the screen.
So many times
call to worship is by Kathleen McTeague. You who are brokenhearted, who woke today with the winds of despair whistling through your mind, come in. You who are brave but wounded, limping through life and hurting with every step, come in. You who are fearful, who live with shadows hovering over your shoulders, come in. This place is sanctuary, and it is for you. You who are filled with happiness, whose abundance overflows, come in. You who walk through your world with lightness and grace, who awoke this morning with strength and hope, you who have everything to give, come in. This place is your calling, a riverbank to channel the sweet waters of your life, the place where you are called by the world's need. Here we offer in love. Here we receive in gratitude. Here we make a circle from the great gifts of breath, attention, and purpose. Come in. Come, let us worship together.
And I now invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing number 1007 in your teal hymnal, or you may follow the words on the screen. There's a river flowing in my soul. I would like to invite the children to come forward and associated adults. And Janet Murphy is here, our Director of Religious Exploration. Look at you all. It is great to have you here. Yes. That is an exclamation of joy, that is. Hi, welcome everybody. Come on up. Hey, we're gonna have to get a bigger rug. I love it. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. So good to see you. I want you all to imagine something. Imagine that when your mother was pregnant with you, all of your family gathered together and friends, and they sat down together and they gathered, and some meditated and some prayed and some were just silent breathing, and they listened for a song. They listened for your song. So that yes, something like that. Because in this gathering, they believe that each person has their own unique song, a song that is only yours and about each of you. And so they would sing it together, and they would come and gather together at your birth, and they would sing it. And they would sing you your song when you were a little baby in your babyhood. And they would sing it to you throughout your childhood. And then you had heard it, and you could start singing it on your own. And then throughout your life, whenever there were celebrations of birthdays and graduations, and maybe you get married, and maybe you get a new job, and they would sing you your song to remind you all of the best parts of who you are. And there are times when you would feel really lonely or hard things would happen. And it may be that you would forget parts of your song, or you would forget how to sing it. And your friends would gather around you, and they would sing your song back to you. Or it may be that you would get really angry and mad at the world and would start acting in ways that weren't like you at all, and your friends would gather around you, and they would sing you your special song to remind you of who you are. So I want you, just for a moment now, but throughout this week, to imagine what your song would sound like. What would be the words to your song? And each of you, and imagine being able to learn someone else's song and to sing it back to them when they need you to do that. And what would that sound like? And in a way, that's what we do here in community. We respect how unique each of you are, and know that you have your own special song to sing and your own special light to bring. And we want to learn from each other how to sing those songs together, and how to remind one another of the very best parts of ourselves. So maybe later this year, some of you could let me know what your song sounds like. And ask your parents what their song sounds like. And other people in the congregation, what would their song be? Because we want to be able to sing our songs together, and sing your song back to you when you need to remember it. It is so good to look into each of your faces and to have you as part of this community. It is so special. And now we're going to do the movement prayer. We're going to invite the congregation to do that before you all go to your classes.
All right, you all stand up. If you have something in your hands, I encourage you to set it down because you're going to need your arms. Just set them down on the ground right here. And then you can pick them back up. No problem. All right, the words are on the screen, and most of us who've been here know it. Here we go. First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms to embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude. And breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world, and we remember to be in the present. All right, here we go again. Bow. Embrace. Gratitude. Breathe. Smile. Share. Thank you all. And we'll be off to RE this morning.
A light is carried from this common flame of our multi-generational congregation into the religious exploration space with the children and youth. We will sing them out. Looking into all those faces, this is one of the best seats in the house, I have to tell you. You may have noticed our parking lot was resurfaced and it has bright new stripes on it. Thank you, Joe Ernest and the facilities group for getting that together. That was wonderful. And just a heads up, from Tuesday through Friday this week, the facility will be closed for termite tenting. Not our favorite part of the interdependent web of all life, but there it is. We have set aside this time in our service to share with each other those joys and sorrows and concerns that we carry with us throughout the week and that we wish to share with the wider community. This is from Andy Glick. He even has a title, A Concern Morphs. Earlier this year, I asked my longtime friend, Philip Burris, if I could share the news about his cancer diagnosis and solicit healing wishes from the UUSLO congregation. He said, yes, I can use all the help I can get. And I passed the information on to you. This is from Andy. I spoke to him recently and he reported that he actually had 3 unrelated cancers, but thanks to new immunotherapy treatments, 2 of them are in full remission and his doctors cannot find any signs of the 3rd. Out of an abundance of caution, they don't want to declare that one in remission until examining him again in March. So Philip, thanks us all and asks the congregation, whatever you're doing for me, please keep it up, at least until March. Thank you, Andy, and we will hold Philip in our hearts and in our thoughts. This Wednesday is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. Founder Gwendolyn Ann Smith describes it this way. Transgender Day of Remembrance seeks to highlight the losses we face due to anti-transgender bigotry and violence. I am no stranger to the need to fight for our rights, and the right to simply exist is first and foremost. With so many seeking to erase transgender people, sometimes in the most brutal ways possible, it is vitally important that those we lose are remembered and that we continue to fight for justice. That struggle for justice and basic human rights is now intensified with the incoming administration. The rhetoric used, the outright threats hurled at this community, and the brutal actions that encourages, as well as the anti-trans legislation being proposed and passed in states across the nation. A post from a therapist that was shared on the ministers list recently said the fear is so palpable and pervasive that infrastructure is buckling. Whatever you do, please support LGBTQ organizations and crisis lines as much as you can. Pour resources into the community. And one of the things that we can do is show up for each other. You may have seen this image in the weekly news. It says, "Allies, come out and show your support." And so I invite anyone who is able to attend to be there at the Gala Pride and Diversity Center on Palm Street in San Luis Obispo on Wednesday at 5:30. All of us need all of us to be there with and for each other. And this is from Donna Verbekmos and Food Share. We are thankful for all whom have begun to shop with Food Share. With Food Share in mind, we love having more to offer. Just a note that please hold off this week, for the reason I mentioned earlier, and bring in your donation after this week, as the church will be tented and we have to bag or double bag all until the tents come off. Thank you, Donna. And this is from Joe Ernest. The parking lot looks new again. Kudos to Steve Brown and the garden gang for preparing the planters for this work. Besides a few tar footprints, it looks awesome. We can somehow make up a inspirational story about those footprints, I'm sure. And a reminder about the tenting once again from Tuesday to Friday. Thank you for your patience while all this work is done. I didn't hear that, but I'm sure it was a message from above. From June Minicall, thanks to Rod for another scintillating sermon last week. It was wonderful sharing the altar with him and helping to plan the service. That was June's service theme that she purchased at the auction. Please consider being worship associate, as it is so fun and invigorating. Yes, thank you, June. Also, please donate to Food Share. But not this week, right? Yes. I'm sure they'd accept cash donations anytime, but yes, thank you. Let's take a few moments to hold together the joys and concerns that were spoken and all those that remain unspoken. Let's offer up a prayer for the healing of pain and open ourselves to a renewed awareness of and commitment to the truly awesome power of love within and beyond this community. Our community outreach offering recipient for November is Lumina Alliance. We heard a little about this last week. It was wonderful to have Heather here to share that information. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering individuals impacted by sexual assault and intimate partner violence. Formed in 2021 from the merger of two organizations with decades of experience, Lumina Alliance continues a long-standing commitment to creating a safer, more equitable community in San Luis Obispo County. So if you would like to donate in the in-person offering today to Lumina Alliance, please write COO on your memo line of your check, or if it's cash, I think we have envelopes available, but I should have checked that before the service. And also, you can give throughout the month on our giving page. It'll show you all of the different funds that you can donate to, including the community outreach offering, which you can give to throughout the month. Also, the minister's discretionary fund is there, We Care Food Share, and of course, you can pay your pledges or make a donation to the operating fund and the endowment fund. So lots of choices. There's a QR code at the bottom of your order of service, which will take you directly to the giving page. Generosity is central to who we are and what we do together. And so we make time each week for an offering from our abundance to sustain this gathering and to strengthen the work of love that grows from our commitment to each other, to the wider community, and to the world. Please join with me in the words for the offering. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. The offering will now be given and received.
For me, one kind of repair is hope, an antidote to despair and withdrawal. So this first reading from Rebecca Solnit's book, Hope in the Darkness, shows one way forward and a means of repair. As soon as I finish the book, I will be donating it to our library, so look for it there. Hope locates itself in the premises that we don't know what will happen, and that in the spaciousness of uncertainty is room to act. When you recognize uncertainty, you recognize that you may be able to influence the outcomes. You alone, or in concert with a few dozen or a few million others. Hope is an embrace of the unknown and the unknowable, an alternative to the certainty of both optimists and pessimists. Optimists think all will be fine without our involvement. Pessimists take the opposite position. Both excuse themselves from acting. It's the belief that what we do matters, even though how and when it may matter, who and what it may impact, are not things we can know beforehand. As James Baldwin pointed out, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed unless it is faced. And as Martin Luther King Jr. said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. The second reading is by the poet Galway Kinnell, one of my favorites, St. Francis and the Sow. The bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower, for everything flowers from within of self-blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness, to put a hand on its brow of the flower, and retell in word and in touch that it is lovely until it flowers again from within of self-blessing. As St. Francis put his hand on the creased forehead of the sow and told her in works and in touch, blessings of earth on the sow. And the sow began remembering all down her thick length, from the earthen snout all the way through the fodder and slops to the spiritual curl of the tail, from the hard spininess spiked out from the spine, down through the great broken heart, to the sheer blue milk and dreaminess spurting and shuddering from the 14 teats and the 14 mouths sucking and blowing beneath them, the long, perfect loveliness of sow. Here ends the reading.
Thank you. I have to say, I just noticed that Mona Lisa is just peeking through the top of these on the screen. Teach me not to look at myself on the screen. Everything flowers from within of self-blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. Self-blessing. I have to admit that I was a little uneasy with using this title for my sermon today. Self-blessing sounds a little self-ish, self-absorbed. With all that is happening in our community, in our country, and across the world, this is hardly a time to be focused on oneself, right? And who am I to bless myself? Some of this uneasiness comes from my background. Midwestern, Scandinavian, Lutheran stock. We might be described as self-deprecating, self-effacing, sometimes self-erasing. We would not likely engage in anything called self-blessing. We do our best to blend in. It is polite in the normal course of events and in daily encounters with other people to do our best to make others believe that we are not actually there at all. No, don't mind me. You just go on about your business. I don't need a thing. Don't make a fuss. But it is also true that this apparent humility that we exhibit is not always gentle and kind. This humility is not always even, well, humble. It can sometimes take on a more combative tone. If my ancestors wrote a self-help book, which they would never do because writing a self-help book sounds downright selfish, and if you thought half as much about other people as you do yourself, the world would be a better place. But if they did write a self-help book, it would not be entitled, I'm okay, you're okay. It would be something more like, I'm not okay, but you're dang sure not okay either, no matter what you think. And with a title like that, you probably wouldn't really need to read the book, and who wants to waste all that time with a book anyway? I heard the famous Bible verse many times, love your neighbor as yourself, though it was not seen as an affirmation of love for oneself, but rather was translated as, you should love your neighbor as much as you already obviously love yourself. So it has taken a while for me to untangle selfishness from loving oneself, and to see there's a direct connection between loving oneself and loving one's neighbor in the widest sense of the word. That lesson began some time ago. I don't know how many of you have read All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, or how many know that the author, Robert Fulghum, was a Unitarian Universalist minister for 22 years. That led me to consider writing a follow-up. Things I never wanted to know but learned anyway in junior high. Some of those things, difficult lessons, have served me well, often witnessing and sometimes suffering through bullying. I began to understand that though this behavior appeared to be enacted by people who were very sure of themselves, it actually arose from a lack of self-confidence, from insecurity, and sometimes self-hatred. That was a very satisfying revelation at the time. It didn't change their behavior at all, but I remember being happy knowing that quite possibly they felt miserable, which doesn't say a whole lot for my capacity for compassion, I know. But the deeper revelation waiting for me was recognizing that wishing them misery, delighting in whatever cosmic punishment I could conjure in my imagination, or any misfortune they may suffer in reality, delighting in that arose from my own insecurity, my own lack of self-confidence. When I feel miserable about myself, I often spread misery or even desire it for others. When I feel rotten about myself, wittingly or unwittingly, I tend to make or attempt to make other people feel rotten about themselves. When I lose sight of the beauty within myself, it is all too easy to dismiss the beauty that lies within each of you. Whereas if I can nurture clear-eyed compassion for myself, it becomes a source of compassion for others. And that's the thing. I am talking about self-blessing today, not because I want to turn away from the world and toward myself. I am talking about self-blessing today because in engaging with the world, in seeking to repair what has been broken, I don't want to spread misery. There's enough of that happening, right? Because if I am to let my light shine, and I believe we all must let our light shine, not in any sappy or sentimental way, but as a means of survival and an act of solidarity. If I am to let my light shine, I must believe it exists. I must uncover it. I must come to know it and know myself, and dare I say it, to love myself. If we are to resist the ugliness that is unleashed in this world, we must reacquaint ourselves with the beauty within us, among us, around us. We are here to abet creation and to witness to it, writes Annie Dillard in a passage contained in our hymnals, to notice one another's beautiful face and complex nature. And that can sound like a pretty sentiment, but this practice is not simply about aesthetic appreciation nor a feel-good community exercise, but so that we can nurture the capability to notice beauty, to celebrate it, to call it forth when it is hiding, to defend it when it is being threatened, to sing one another's songs when they have been forgotten, to bless ourselves and one another, and to bless the world, a world full of people that are sorely in need of blessing. And while my Midwestern Scandinavian Lutheran roots may understandably question the notion that I should think I can bless the world, Unitarian Universalist theologian and scholar Rebecca Parker reminds me that your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, your gifts can be used to bless or curse the world. Those are the options. I can choose to curse the world or to bless the world. Those are my choices. And Lord knows I have sometimes cursed the world without stopping to question my right to do so. So why can't I choose to bless it? And how can I choose to bless it unless there is something that flowers from within of self-blessing? Unless there's a river flowing in my soul telling me that I'm somebody, unless there is something that assures me that I have a blessing to bestow, a light to shine, a song to sing. One of the unfortunate but helpful lessons from junior high was that dehumanization, however casually carried out, spreads to infect everyone in its wake, unless there is that which flowers from within of self-blessing, unless there is an awareness of beauty sufficient to challenge the ugliness unless there are those willing to teach and reteach people, victims and perpetrators, teach and reteach them their loveliness. Noticing, witnessing, testifying to beauty. This is not frivolous work. At our best, we here nurture within ourselves the awareness of beauty, and thus also open ourselves to that which is hard, that which is tragic, that which is unjust. Choosing to bless the world means that we have committed ourselves to action. To see the light within, we must uncover it first and let it shine. Finding compassion for ourselves, nurturing love at our center, means we will share that love with others, as love does not exist in isolation. And all of that together causes us to dare to believe that what we do matters, even though how and when it may matter, who and what it may impact are not things we can know beforehand. It means we risk having hope. Kinnell's poem that you heard in the reading, as Judith said, is called St. Francis and the Sow. St. Francis, my Kindle decided to rebel against me. My goodness. St. Francis and the Sow. St. Francis of Assisi, who is said to have a special connection to animals and all of nature, reteaches this animal its loveliness by putting his hand on the creased forehead of the sow and telling her in words and in touch, in works and in touch, blessing of earth on the sow. Telling this creature in works and in touch that you are somebody. That affirmation of dignity traveling through its great broken heart like love. I love that line. Though my extended family is decidedly not Catholic, the stories about St. Francis made the leap into Lutheranism without too much trouble. And so I like to think that they would love the light humor, the earthiness, the literal groundedness of the poem's picture of self-blessing. As much as they may have argued against the concept, they are a part of that which flowers within me. They help me to find a light within. They contributed to my song. And they remind me that whatever I think self-blessing is, it is decidedly not all about me. It is about choosing to bless this world. Rebecca Parker writes, the choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. So may it be. I now invite you to rise in body or spirit, and we are going to sing This Little Light of Mine.
Let it shine.
join with me in saying the words we use each Sunday as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you. In the spirit of the words from Universalist minister John Murray that our choir sang to open the service, as you travel the highways and byways of your lives, give the people something of your vision. You possess a light. Uncover it. Let it shine. You have a song. Sing it. Use all you have to bring more light and understanding, more justice, more peace, more love to a world in need. Give them not hell, but hope, courage, and kindness. Go in peace, go in joy, go forth singing.